All right, 3.2. Basically solving equations again, but now we're using multiplication and division. So basically what we're doing is this. We do the inverse operation of multiplication and division. Okay? They are the inverse of each other. Okay, so the inverse of multiplying is dividing, and vice versa. The inverse of dividing is multiplying. Okay, so if I have a problem such as this, 10x equal 110. Okay, here, this is multiplying. Okay, so to solve that problem, I have to divide both sides by 10. Okay, because I'm multiplying by 10. The inverse operation is to divide by 10 to both sides. When I divide by 10, 10 goes into 10 one time, leaving me with 1 over 1x, okay, or 1 times x. I don't write the 1, okay, I just put x. Okay, 10 goes into 110, so this right here is what you have there. 10 goes into 110 how many times? 11 times. Okay, now the same holds true even if we do this. Let's say it's negative 10x equal 110. Okay, we're still going to divide by negative 10 to both sides. Whatever I'm multiplying by to the variable, I divide by that. Okay, and so that's still the same thing, everything, it just basically changes this to negative 11. Okay, so that's the only thing that really changes. You just follow your rules. If I'm dividing by one negative, then the answer is negative. Okay, it doesn't change if it looks like this. Okay, because of our commutative property, these two are equivalent because of the commutative property. Okay, so you would solve it the same way we did the other one. Okay. Now, the problem that most of you run into is when I get one like this. Negative 10x equal 9. Okay, you go, okay, well, I'll divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10. Looks like a 40. And then you start panicking because, well, it doesn't go into 10. Okay, so it doesn't go into 10. That's your answer. Okay, let's say it was this. Let's say it was negative 10x equal 13. Okay, nothing changes. You still do the same thing. Divide by negative 10. Divide by negative 10. You can leave it as x is equal to negative 13 over 10 or 1 3/10. Either way is acceptable. Okay, I just changed the improper fraction to a mixed number. Okay, now, so that was multiplication. Division is very similar to the multiplication. Y over 7 equal 12. So they're saying some number divided by 7 is going to equal 12. Okay, well, if the inverse of multiplication is division, the inverse of division is multiplication. So I'm dividing by 7, so therefore I must multiply both sides by 7. Okay, well, 7 over 1 and 7 are the same thing. Okay, so these cancel each other out, leaving me with y. Because the whole point of solving is to get the value of the variable. How we get the value of the variable is we get the variable on one side or the other of the equation by itself. Okay, we isolate the variable. Isolate the variable, you got to get rid of the number. Okay, it's the whole reason. Excuse me. That's the whole reason that we do the inverse operation, is to get the variable by itself, to isolate it on one side or the other of the equation. So that just basically leaves me then with 12 times 7, which is 84. Okay? And so what they've basically said is this. They're saying that if I take 84 and divide it by 7, that will equal 12. Okay? Well, when we divide 7 into 84, it does equal 12, and so 12 is equal to 12, so that is correct. Okay? Now, let's try that down. M over negative 4 equals negative 3/4. Okay? So to solve that, I'm dividing by negative 4. So the inverse of that would be to multiply by negative 4 to both sides. Okay? So I have to do the same thing over here. On this side, those cancel out, leaving me with M. On the fraction side, I simply multiply 3 times 4, negative 3 times negative 4, which is positive 12, over 4 times 1, which is 4. So M would be equal to what? 3. Yeah. Yeah, if you can see the cross canceling here, you can cancel those out. Remember, the reason it's positive is because I've got two negative signs. Two negatives multiplied together. Ooh. All right. So, moves to the last thing we've got to talk about, last type of problem. Last type of problem we got to worry about is this. Negative 2 over 3 t is equal to negative 16. Okay? Now, what we have here is a fraction in front of our variable. Okay, when you have a fraction in front of your variable, we solve by multiplying each side of the equation by the reciprocal. Of the fraction, obviously. Put that in that to make sure everybody understands that. So, then in my original problem, I had negative 2 over 3 times t equal negative 16. So I have to multiply this side by negative 3 over 2 because that is the reciprocal of negative 2 over 3. And I do the same thing to the other side. Okay? On the left side, these all cancel each other out, leaving me with t. On the right side of the equation, I have 2 goes into 2 once, 2 into 16 goes 8 times, which means I have negative 8 times negative 3 over 1 times 1, which means t is equal to what? 24. Now, they try to throw you off, and they throw a problem in like this. Three-fourths t is equal to the absolute value of negative 15. Okay? You just have to simplify first. Okay? So that's 3/4 t equal, what is the absolute value of negative 15? 15. So it's that right there. Okay? So now, you just simply do the reciprocal. You do the reciprocal of 3/4, which is 4 over 3, to both sides. These cancel, leaving me with t again. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 15 5 times. So that leaves me with 5 times 4, 1 times 1, t is equal to 20. Right, Zach? Positive? All right, I want you to do this one on your own. 1/3 y equal 5 2/3. 1/3 y is equal to 5 2/3.